For 13 years, Cristina Caicedo has been living under a legal cloud. Based in the city of Kochi, the editor for Outlook magazine is one of the first journalists charged under India's anti-terror laws in connection with her reporting. She's been facing legal action since 2010 and says pressure on journalists like her have only become more common.
15 years ago or 20 years ago, it was an exception. Journalists being booked was an exception. Now it has become a norm.
Governments using laws to target journalists isn't just happening in India, says Cristina.
I think it's a global phenomenon. It's happening everywhere. And in India also, as everybody knows, the Indian situation is going from bad to worse.
Cristina is one of 4 journalists recognised this week with an International Press Freedom Award. All are confronting legal or other harassment. Presented by the Committee to Protect Journalists, the award also was given to Nico Gravamia from Georgia, Maria Teresa Montana from Mexico, and Ferdinand Ayete of Togo.
I think what unites the 4 awardees this year are some of the themes we're seeing globally. So increased criminalisation of journalists, in particular using non-speech-related charges against them, charges like breaches of national security law, for example.
While in the US, the journalists are meeting with lawmakers, civil society and news outlets, including VOA, to discuss the situation for media in their respective countries. With press freedom at risk around the world, Ginsburg says it's especially important for US lawmakers to hear their stories.
The United States prides itself as the home of the First Amendment, a defender of the free press. And so it's really important that US lawmakers hear firsthand the kinds of threats that we are seeing worldwide, not just so that they can help protect those journalists internationally, but also so that they understand what might happen here in the United States if we don't also defend a free press here.
With India, Mexico and Georgia all scheduled to hold elections in 2024, the threats to media mirror threats to democracy as a whole, the journalists say. Gravamia, who spent 13 months in prison, says Russian influence is a concern in his home country of Georgia.
The problems in Georgia is not a matter of bad governance. It's an issue of Russian-backed authoritarianism. So that is most important issue we have to understand about Georgia.
Cristina too says the 2024 elections in India are a concern.
Everyone who is worried about democracy, secularism and federalism in India are deeply concerned about the upcoming election.
The Press Freedom Awards Gala in New York Thursday will offer a brief pause before the honorees return to covering the news. For Liam Scott, Jessica Jerreat, VOA News.